Hi guys, this is a new vinyl finds video. It's been a while since I've done one, and the reason is that I didn't want to buy any records. I put some orders on Norman Records, and they have some items that are pre-ordered and whatnot, so they are delayed. I'm sort of expecting them to come in next week or so, maybe. But yeah, I didn't want to buy anything. But whenever I say I don't want to buy anything, it usually transpires that I actually do buy some things, and this is the case here as well. So that's how it works, I guess. So anyway, yeah, I bought some things online because I found them, and I was super excited to find them, and I wanted to get them. I got a record that was a gift, and I also went record shopping and, sort of window shopping, that kind of thing, just browsing through records. And there was one thing that I wanted, so I got that. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, there isn't a lot of records, but they're quite interesting, and yeah. I'll show them to you now. So I will begin with a record that I actually went on a record shop and bought. So it's has a little bit more value in that sense. So it's this one. It's a reissue. As per usual, I have a lot of reissues. So if you know this channel, it's like, oh, I have an original as well. So yeah, wait for it. So yeah, so there is it's this one. This one is called Tam Tam Tam. It was released in 1958, and this is a reissue, obviously, from Trunk. If you don't know Trunk, they've done some really interesting reissues back in the day, experimental, electronic, and whatnot. And they've reissued this one. So this is an album that, as I said, it was released in 1958. It was from by this producer person, a Polish producer that did this show, and the music is from that show, and it is basically the roots of modern Brazilian music, if you want to believe Giles Patterson, because that is the guy that has pushed for this record to be reissued. The sound on this record is not amazing because there were no original tapes or anything. It is a bit scratchy. It sounds like a little bit like an old record, and but it's fine. I mean, I don't think that you would imagine that this would do any better. There would have an amazing production or anything like that. The music itself is. There's a lot of recognizable elements. There are some tracks that are yeah, I've heard this before, kind of thing. And it's really funny because it has a very exotica kind of feel to it, with some baritone singing in between songs, and over the music and whatnot, which just makes it sound a little bit, I don't want to say bizarre, but it's an exotica record, really. It is Brazilian exotica for Westerners that want to listen to Brazilian music, and what the hell is it? And remember, it's 1958, so Giles Patterson sponsored this, if you like, and said that we have to reissue this because this is amazing. And yeah, I think that it won't be around for long. That's my feeling. Anyway, Tam Tam Tam, Trunk Records. If Brazilian music is your bag, and you want to have something that is considered to be historic, then you can check this out. Next up, part of the batch of records that I saw and I was like, I have to buy them, I guess, is this one. So hang on, let me sort these out a little bit. Yeah. So yes, what happened was that I went to Cafe Otto. I didn't go to the physical place. I went to the online shop, because Cafe Otto is a cafe, and they do gigs there basically, and it is sort of sponsored or part of, I'm not entirely sure, of Wired magazine. So sorry, not Wired. Yeah, Wired magazine, not Wire, the Wire magazine. It's Wired. It's the UK avant noise improv mag, that one. And they have a shop as well. And every now and again they don't focus too much on it. They just bring some records, and they also have a label called Otoroku, and they do some releases every now and again, and they bring some records as well, which is in sort of, you know, that kind of Wired spirit of music, where it's a bit out there, it's more experimental, more interesting, more challenging, if you like. So I went there, and because sometimes I would go there and there would be something that I was looking for that I couldn't find anywhere else, and you know, just out of curiosity, I went there. It had some stuff. One of the things that I wanted to buy, this one, it's Sun Ra and Astro Infinity Orchestra, Sign of the Myth. If memory serves me right, this is unreleased material, so it hasn't been available before, and yeah, it's Sun Ra. So, you know, I'm not a big jazz guy. I don't buy a lot of jazz, I don't own a lot of jazz, but Sun Ra is just, you know, respect. I mean, he's just, yeah, he's one of those artists that you just want to get everything he has. I have quite a few Sun Ra albums back home. I want to complete, you know, what is available here, but it just hasn't happened. So anyway, yeah, Sun Ra, really good. You know, if you're into this kind of thing, you will buy it anyway. So, you know, it's just no point in me, you know, saying if it's good or not. It is quite good. So yeah, next one, I have to be perfectly honest, I cannot give you a review saying this is really good, this is not very good. I've listened to it like once, and I was in a hurry. I need to download it and listen to it on the way to work because it gives me some time. This is a record that was shown by Bostonian Reggie a couple of videos ago. Apologies made, I haven't put a single comment on your videos. What happens is that I will watch them in the morning before going to work, and I'm like, oh, in a rush, I get out, and then then I'm like, I will watch it in the afternoon and comment, and I never do that, so sorry. Yeah, but I do watch your videos, so yeah. So anyway, he showed this one. So this is Construct and Joe McPhee. Construct are a Turkish collective and free jazz musicians, and I was aware of these guys, and they're pretty darn good. If they were born somewhere colder and further up the map, I guess that they would be much better known by now. You know, anywhere, Sweden, Norway, Finland, or anywhere else from that sort of area. But yeah, I guess that, you know, even more kudos to them, because they are from a country that is not really, you know, known for its jazz. And mind you, you know, Turkey has an amazing, you know, legacy, musical legacy. They know music, but not necessarily, you know, you wouldn't associate them with jazz. Anyway, Construct is really good. I want to find more stuff from these guys, and yeah, this record is improvisational, and yeah, I haven't listened to it enough to say more, but I would recommend checking out Construct and other things that they've done, because it's really good. Now, the records that prompted me to buy these, because the Sun Ra and the Joe McPhee was like construct albums, were sort of a bit more impulse kind of buy. But I saw these. This is a set of 4 records. They are from the same label, and yeah. So which one should I begin with? Okay, I'll begin with these ones, because these were the ones that drew my attention to the label and to the other 2 releases, which is Fraventi Antico Adagio. Yeah, there you go. So it's this one. Apologies if you cannot see it very well. Now, from what I can see, you can almost see it's not just this this pattern here that they've done. There's also some reflective patterns. I had it and I lost it. Anyway, the cover is beautiful, by the way. This is called Antico Adagio, and it's by a guy called Lino Capra Vaccina or something like that. And the reason why I was quite, I looked it up and I was like, oh, this looks really interesting, is because, there you go. You can see there are some patterns here which are not really visible because it's white. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, this guy was part of the Futuro Antico Actuala kind of collective of musicians, and this is a record that he did in 1978, I want to say. 78, yes, I am correct for once. So yeah, so what you get here is sort of avant-garde, electronic, classical kind of, well, not classical, but if you know Futuro Antico, then it is sort of that direction of sound. So this is amazing. It's the first time I think that it has been reissued, and on top of that, they also had some extra kind of extras which were reissued on this LP, which is called Frammenti da Antico Adagio. So it's fragments of of Antico Adagio. So it's extras basically, which is released as a second LP. And yeah, so the music is, as I said, avant-garde kind of Harold Budd sort of minimal, spacey sort of. If you see, I've told you, where he came from, where he played. I think that is enough information for you to look it up and probably pick it up as well. So yeah, I'll leave it to that. People that sort of, like, yeah, it's that kind of thing. So anyway, there were a couple of more releases from this label. I will get to the label as well. So next one is Lovisoni Messina, and it's Prati Banati del Monte Analogo. Yeah, so more of that, so more meditative kind of electronic, minimal, sort of Harold Budd kind of, that kind of minimal composition, if you like. Great stuff, excellent stuff. If you listen to De La Sierra, for example, LP, well, yeah, sort of that kind of, not sound, because it's not necessarily, doesn't have piano, but it does have that kind of feel to it. And last but not least, Luciano Silio and Dell'Universo Assente. This guy was again Italian. He was a composer, minimalist. It's more classical, this one. It's more classical kind of oriented music. Still great. It doesn't have that avant-garde kind of space rockish kind of space rockish. You know what I mean? Popol Vuh, Kraut influence, if you like, or sound. This is more classical. This is like the only record that he ever made. Actually, this is not the only record he ever made. This is an expanded version of that record, basically. So yeah, and the label is called De Chachel, whatever, however you want to call it. Yeah, and if you go online to this label, you will salivate. I salivated. I was like, I want everything. I know no one from this label, but I want all the CDs and all the records. That is, yeah, it's just that kind of label. Anyway, yeah, really interesting stuff, and just, yeah. And now for the original. Yeah, it's not only reissues that I buy. I rarely show originals and used stuff, but this record I have not been lucky with, because I've ordered it a couple of times and used, and you can find it here for a fair price here in the UK, but you cannot find it in a fair condition. That's the thing. So I was on Discogs the other day. I have sold quite a few things, so I have some money in PayPal, which I could get back into my bank account, but I've left it there because it's going to go for records anyway, so you know. And you know, I was looking it up because I was listening to this band, and I looked it up and I found a copy for 12 quid, and I jumped on it. So this is this is the Dead Can Dance, their first album. Dead Can Dance. I don't think that it's Dead Can Dance. Yeah, a band that is quite funny because I've said this before. I think that the first time I've heard about the Dead Can Dance without having heard their music was on Morbid Angel LP. In the in the credits, so they were thanking different people, like guitar manufacturers and amplifier manufacturers and Kimbos and all these kinds of guys, and then mom, dad, Satan, whoever they were, like thanking, I don't remember, and they were thanking the Dead Can Dance for their divine music. So I was like, Dead Can Dance? Must be a death metal band of some sort. Little did I know. But anyway, yeah. I really like the Dead Can Dance, and this record is the record that I sort of prefer, if you like. I also like their third album. Well, the first three albums really, I think, are their strongest efforts. This is really good because it is not only is it a Dead Can Dance album, but so it has this sound, but it is also new wavy and gothy at the same time, because there's like drums and guitars, bass, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is an amazing album. It was in a really good condition. No scratches, plays really well, and I'm really happy to get it. Yeah. So yeah. And last but 18 minutes, sorry about the long video, and last but not least, a record that was given to me as a gift, and it's Celtic Frost, because this is a Sonic Mainliner channel, so you need a bit of metal in your life. Into the Pandemonium, I think this is their third album. This is a more bizarre kind of release from Celtic Frost. It sort of was the release that sort of shown the signs of, the band wasn't doing really well. I think it's a really good album, and this was actually bought to me by a friend of mine because he really loves this album. He loves this band in general, and he loves this album, specifically this one. So yeah. It starts off with with Mexican radio, which is a cover song, and it's just really unconventional. I guess if you are a metal fan and you listen to this album, you know, having followed Celtic Frost for a while, you might be disappointed, but I think it's a good album. And funnily enough, I was because he recommended it, because I knew Celtic Frost, because I was a metalhead when I was young, but I never bought anything from them. He always said that, oh man, Into the Pandemonium, this is amazing. And I always tried to listen to it on Spotify and just didn't like it. But when I dropped the needle on this, it sort of made more sense, and it has happened more than once to me. I don't know why. I can't explain it. Anyway, that's my update. I will probably do I won't be getting anything new in the next couple of weeks potentially. So if I do something, I will try to do a now spinning video, because I listen to music, and I this stuff from the shelves, and a mix of new and old stuff, and it's always nice to do. And and as I was Fred was saying about Stefan leaving, which is really sad, but it's not like you close the door and that's it. You can always come back. It's always good to keep up and just be there, and so that's what I'm doing. And obviously you must have a reason to do it. In this case I had some new records, but it's always good to keep the spirit of VC alive. And I know there's loads of VCs these days, but at least in this corner of the VC, it's good to keep things up. So apologies to anyone that I've watched the video but I have not commented, and I've watched quite a few videos and I haven't commented, and I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, anyway, it's 22 minutes. Thanks very much for hanging around. As always, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, subscribe if you think that this is the kind of thing that you want to watch, unsubscribe if you think that what kind of crap is this guy showing, and interact, or last but not least, stay subscribed. And Ben, I've watched your videos and I haven't commented either. So anyway, that's it. So I will see you around.